Hey guys, Nick coming to you with another Infinity Kingdom video. And this one, as you can see, is going to be a spotlight on Zenobia. Now, I was not planning on releasing a spotlight on Zenobia so soon, but because we did a Quinn earlier this week, and a lot of players are asking me, why not Zenobia? Why not Zenobia first, even? Um, I think it's a good time to actually do a spotlight for Zenobia as well, since there's a few questions on her. Now, this is not a comparison video. If you want one, let me know, and that could be something I do next. But for now, I want to go over the pros and cons of Zenobia. And one of the cons, spoiler alert, is the fact that she's not as flexible. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at her kit, we're going to look at skills and the synergy she brings to different marches to finish. Pro number one, she's extremely easy to max, but not to obtain. When you look at the Philistone, she is not into the Philistone. She will be available in the market, quite easy to find. She's not available as a full immortal, but the chance of the fragment at 5 and 10 is quite high, 4.17%, half of Quinn, almost double Alex. She will be there quite often. She is, you're going to be able to see her to be purchasable by gem or by purple dust. This here, I think free to play should use only the purple dust. Low spender or anybody that really wants to get a Zenobia in the first March really early into the game, maybe for PvP 1, you can always do the gem as well. The value is still there. She's a good immortal. But to unlock her, however, there's only two ways. Luck, money. You can get her from the random immortal fragment. All the immortal that are epic are available there, except the Olean Shadow that are available into Wheel. I would not count on that. The chance is pretty low. She is going to be available here as well in the Earth random fragment for the immortal. This is a little bit more, I would say it's easier for her to appear. Depending on how quick you want to max her, this could be an option. If you get lucky with the first 5, great. If you don't, the only other way is going to be VIP purchase. So not for free to play, but I think the value for low spender is there. This chest level VIP 5 that gives you 60, so just enough to unlock her, is very good value. By the way, I will come up with a spending guide or spending tier list soon. It is on my list, but for now, just to let you know, this is really good value. Now, when you go further down, they cost more. You get a little bit more. The value goes down very, very quick. Why? Because, in my opinion, once she is unlocked, she should be maxed in the market. This is easy to do. She comes very often. You can just use purple dust as well. I wouldn't rush her unless you are a very early fighter and Zenobia is going to be in your main watch. So that's pros number one. Pro number two, she is an Earth immortal. So that is good because a lot of players use Earth Dragon. Not going to dwell longer on that. I think it's a pro just as a whole. Pro number three, the artifact is extremely easy to obtain and max. Same thing as Quinn. It's available into the Mysterion shop. It's available into these chests here. You can see you select Earth and Silver of Palmyra is a Zenobia artifact. Extremely easy to max. On top of that, the artifact is extremely good. It's going to give you a very exclusive effect, which is 25% attack speed when healing your target. If you look at a skill in Berserk and Aura, the attack speed that it brings to you and your team is only 10%. So at 25, Zenobia attack speed buff is extremely good. It's almost a skill as its own. But this is where we start to go more toward the con, in my opinion. When you look at her skill, healing is extremely good in most games, Infinity Kingdom as well. But in this case, because there's so much anti-healing into Quinn being almost everywhere and Can also being popular, it loses value. And if you look at Zenobia and you compare her to other healer, Zenobia's skill only brings healing. It is a one-trick pony kind of model. She only brings healing. So before we go look at the few other options when it comes to sport, this is where I say it's a little bit more of a pro and cons. I think her skill is a con when it comes to PvP because it only brings healing. It's a pro when it comes to PvE. Healing is good because it gives you sustain, and sustain allow you to deal more damage to example non-boss, non units. Also, it's very good in the campaign, elite or normal. So that's a pro. Our artifact is what makes her as a whole decent regardless of her being a one-trick pony. So that means our artifact is essential on my Quinn. Unlike Quinn, if you bring Zenobia to the battlefield, you need her artifact. Cannot get away without her artifact. In my opinion, she loses so much value. Let's go back to what I mean and to what I said. Let's just look at the example Theo. Theo is really geared towards healing as well. If you look at the second port here, the upgrade value, it's only healing. But what she brings as well is she dispel continuous damage effect. The healing is increased when players lower HP. But at the very least, Theo has another part of her skill that is not healing. The other healer that you can look at is example Fufei, but Fufei, of course, another category, my opinion. But although Fufei does a lot of healing, what really makes her shine is her control immunity, right? So Zenobia is a one-trick pony because all she does in her skill is healing. That is what I mean by being a con. The other con is the skill that you should bring with her, in my opinion. Because she's a one-trick pony in her skill with only doing healing, I don't think you should bring healing skill. Example, Vitality's Touch, Purification, Winding Dying. These are not skill I personally prefer on Zenobia because what happens is you're doubling down on the fact that she only do healing. In my opinion, you should do something with her that will allow her, if healing is cancelled, to bring value to the battlefield. And this, in my opinion, is going to be an aura, a grace, and skills like no escape. Energy shield also very strong. And again, like I said, aura are good as long as they synergize well with your team. But I think grace is the best option for Zenobia other than no escape and energy shield. She is going to be able to bring something to the battle right from the start for a few seconds, even if healing is cancelled at the very least. So energy suppression, speed blessing, Oaken, resist are a decent option for her. When it comes to red skill, divine blessing, good option. It's an aura. Be careful you're fighting. Fountain of life, I don't think should be held on your Zenobia in this case. If you have a tank, I think you should go on your tank. If you have another support, you should go on your other support. Because in my opinion, you don't want to, again, double down on healing. If you don't have any other spot to put your Fountain of Life, of course, it's still decent because it is an amazing skill as a whole. Now, by major con, that can also be a pro when you look at it, is going to be how she synergize in different teams. I think it's a con most of the time. I'll give you two examples. If you take my March as an example, I have Quinn at the moment, right? I have double tank and Emiko. What happens is if the enemy team has no healer, my Quinn lose value. But at the very least, my Quinn is going to give me value against the healing skill that the enemy is going to bring to the battlefield, which a lot of the time they're going to have at least one or two. If I put Zenobia, all of her effectiveness, in my opinion, in this setup is wasted. Why? If they have anti-healing, her whole skill is useless. If you bring healing skill on top of that, your skill on Zenobia and Zenobia are useless when it comes to healing, or almost. And on top of that, our artifact, which is extremely good, extremely valuable, is attack speed. In this setup, I don't necessarily need attack speed. Is it something I don't want? No, it's still good, but it's not going to be the best synergy in the situation. I have double tank in Miko. I would rather have something else. I would rather have a chance of canceling the healing of the enemy team, which is why I am running Quinn. If one of my two immortal at the front line would be Alex, Zenobia would still have value if healing is cancelled. And in this case, it's a good thing. It could be a good thing to consider. Zenobia, Quinn, and Zenobia could be good option, both of them. Now, this is where I think Zenobia shine the most. It's when she is paired with a attack speed immortal like Annabelle, Alex, and Iris. In this case, at the very least, if the healing is cancelled, you will get the attack speed buff out of her and the skill if you select the right skills. The last example I'm going to give you and where you need to be careful is this as an example. If you use a fire team, which are a second good option in my opinion, I prefer Earth, but fire team can be very strong. I personally believe this hero spot should not be Cyrus or should not be Sion. I think Quinn here would be better. Quinn will give you value if the enemy has anti-healing. You can use Quinn as a sponge to protect your Wu. Yes, Zenobia can do something similar into sponging damage for Wu if you use the right skill. But what happens here is anti-synergy. Why? Fire team is all about burst damage. Zenobia as a healer, she's about sustain. Not good synergy. Two, fire team is about casting ultimate quickly, a lot, as soon as possible, as much as possible. It's not about normal attack. Zenobia artifact is all about normal attack. So both kit from her skill and her artifact are not good synergy with fire team, whereas Quinn is more easily inserted into the march. This is what I mean by synergy being a con for Zenobia. You need to be careful who you pair with, in my opinion, although she is a very good immortal. So this is it for the Zenobia highlight. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it gives you more insight into Zenobia. I hope you're going to be careful who you're going to pair her with. Still think she's a good immortal. If you have any feedback, any comments, if you'd like me to touch on another immortal or even maybe do the full in-depth comparison between Quinn and Zenobia, let me know. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.